Hi, this is Ganesh Kumar from AR Pro Academy. In the last video, we discussed about selling in 2021. After this, we have been getting a lot of feedback, which we are using it as feed forward. I think feed forward is a positive way of looking forward based on your feedbacks. In fact, your feedbacks are an inspiration for us to create more and more information for our audience. So a lot of people have been asking me to discuss about something called predictions beyond 2021 and what is going to be the future of our industry. Predictions cannot be done because predictions have to be 100% true. And then when we talk about forecast, we talk about sales forecast, which also many times doesn't really come true. So I thought, let us discuss trends 2021 and beyond. How is our industry, which is part of our Indian economy, which plays a major role by contributing to the Indian economy, how is it going to behave in the coming period, especially 2021 in the current financial year. Central government has also announced their budget recently. So how is it going to be? January, I am told the dispatches have been really good and many people have done good retails also in the month of January. That's the opening month of the current year. 2020 was a year that changed everything. In fact, changes have started happening much before, but 2020 was totally unexpected and the pandemic has changed everything. So let's see the trends 2021 and beyond. What is in store for the automotive industry? Digitalization or digital transformation has set in, and many people have started at least talking about digitalization. And a lot of people complain that the digitalization or the digital transformation has failed. Why did it fail? Did you know that the processing power of today's smartphone is several thousand times greater than that of the computer that helped Neil Armstrong to land on the moon in 1969? The handheld device which you are having in your hand, which you are holding in your hand, or which you are viewing this particular video, it connects the entire human population and it's only 10 years old. Technology gap, that is another trend which I am discussing today. OEMs are much ahead in the technology. In fact, they have got robotics for manufacturing, assembling, 3D printing, and there's a huge gap between the OEMs and the dealerships. So that is one area which we have to take care. Many look at this as a temporary phenomenon, but what I feel is the digitalization which should have happened long back. Many people had started also earlier, but it will continue for a long time. In fact, there is an interesting poll done by one of the channels. Who in your organization, the question was, who in your organization is responsible for digital transformation? The options were CEO, CMO, CIO, COVID-19, and no marks for guessing the right answer. Obviously, it was the COVID-19 who had inspired or who were instrumental for digital transformation. COVID-19 was only a reason for adapting and adopting digitalization. In fact, we should, according to me, we should go one step further. We should be adapting artificial intelligence, that is intelligent automation using artificial intelligence and machine learning. That's how, in fact, in a dealership, we do a lot of repeatable jobs, and then a lot of time is being wasted in doing these repeatable jobs. AI can, or artificial intelligence can very easily carry out all these repeatable jobs, and the other job which we call as heuristics, that is where human power and then your basic intelligence is required, human intelligence is required, doing a lot of creative things, the team or the people can utilize their time for doing this kind of heuristic jobs. So early adapters or early adopters also, they will get, and quick followers will get the benefit, and the rest, I don't have to say what will happen to them. So the other trend which I am talking about is how soon can you adopt intelligent automation using artificial intelligence and machine learning. In fact, many people have been talking about it. They have been asking me, after reading an article which I wrote much before COVID-19, that it is high time that the automobile industry adopted artificial intelligence for the complete spectrum of dealership operation. I've shared the link here. You can go through it. It's a very simple article where even a layman can understand what AI can do for the industry. So do go through this article, and then we are also planning in a big way to see how best we can help our dealership fraternity in bringing about changes which are required as per the new trend. Yeah, next, when we talk about trends, comes the shape and size of dealerships. A question which I have been asking myself, and I have been asking OEMs and a lot of people. Do we need this kind of huge 3S facilities to run a dealership? I'll give you examples supporting my argument. Recently, one of my relatives decided to buy a car. They consulted their family members and then decided to go for the Nexa Ignis. In fact, the word Nexa stands for New Exclusive Automotive Experience. That's what Nexa stands for. So I asked him, did you go to the showroom? So he said, I don't even know where the showroom is. Then how did you decide on the car? So he said, first I consulted my family members, my children, my friends, and then we decided on a particular vehicle, and then I understood it comes from the Nexa. I picked up the telephone number and called them and told them, this is the car which I would like to see. So first they brought a car which was an automatic transmission. I said, no, I wanted a manual transmission. After 2 days, they brought a manual transmission. So that also was a high-end car. In fact, I wanted a mid-variant with sufficient features which I require. So third time they brought the third variant, and then finally we decided and then paid the advance. And then maybe in a week's time, I'll be getting the delivery. Then I asked him, so you need to know only where to take the vehicle for service. So he said, why should I know? One phone call and they will come and pick up the car. So in such a situation, when we are talking about a huge facility, that is that infrastructure, a 3S facility, that is sales, service and service parts, why would they invest so much amount, in fact blocking the entire money? In fact, something saddens me also. When a new brand enters our country, they always look for people who can invest in this kind of money. But they rarely or they hardly see the business acumen or whether they can take the business forward. There are a lot of startups today who can, with a lot of business acumen, who can run this industry in a much better way than most of the dealerships are run today, especially in the new situation where a lot of technology adaptation is required. So my question was, why would why should they invest in such a facility? In fact, I have created a small model where a facility, the big facility with all this, all your collision repair, your 20 bay or 30 bay repair, engine repair, you can even have a training center, you can have a meeting center, everything much away from the city where the cost of land will be much lower. So there you can have a huge facility with all these whatever you want. And within the city, see, what is required today is proximity to the customer. Be where the customer is. That is the mantra today. So if you have several service outlets within a city, just take a look at the infographic which I have shared. Some 5-6 facilities, just 5-way workshops, 2S. You can have parts there which can be JIT, just in time, where from your main facility parts can be sent anytime to your facility whenever you require. You don't have to maintain a huge stock here. The central stores can keep all the things. And then customers, if this 5-bay can take care of all your customers who are coming for service. And then for collision repair, what I suggest is, if you have a flatbed truck, initially you can even hire a flatbed truck. Vehicles can be carried to your main facility where the entire collision repair can be conducted. This facility can have everything, whatever you want to have, at a much lower cost. Whereas within the city, what you require is some 5-6 service outlets and a digital experience center located in different locations. So the most of the touch points now are digital. Customer doing the search at the convenience of his home. So do you think customer will again change their habits after the COVID threat is over? They will continue to do so. So the only 2 touch points which might happen is visiting the showroom for a test drive. That also can be done at customer's convenience at his home. The other one is delivery. Delivery also can be done, made a home delivery. Third is service. When all these things can be done without this huge facility, why do we have to invest so much in this? So this is something which I want everyone, especially the OEMs, should seriously think about it. There are a lot of people who had come to me with 4-5 people together. They can invest, and then with the assistance of a bank, they can start small facilities with all these things. With a single big facility outside the city, which will incur much less cost. And then this digital experience centers, you can have AR and VR, that is augmented reality and virtual reality, where you can explain everything to the customer, that is before the actual physical experience is given. The other thing, most important thing, is prospecting. People are not sure of how the prospecting has to be done. Your prospecting has to be done in such a way that your pipeline is always full. So that is where the dealerships supported by OEMs have to train our people to become professional. That is, from lead generation, different stages, 6 to 7 stages are there before they finally decide on the car. Every customer will have some kind of a desire, and along with that they have a pain, they have a goal to achieve. So how do they achieve? This is to be accomplished through the systematic professional prospecting manner. The relationship, how they continue to do. See, mobility is a universal barometer of economic progress. The higher the level of mobility, the quicker the economic development for a country. So that is the trend which I wanted to communicate today, main thing. So how do you become number one in mobility? Especially now, again, we are in the cusp of a disruption. EVs, electric vehicles, are coming, and as the last figures say, Tata is far ahead of the people who are already in the market. And then Tesla, the world's number one leader, also has established offices in India. So things are moving ahead. So let us see whether whatever trends which I have mentioned, whether we'll be able to follow. And wish you a good day. Thank you.